It's Ellen again. Hi, and with evidence number 43 of 1,000 evidences for the LDS Church. In today's discussion, we're going to be talking about Arabia that was unknown in Joseph Smith's day. If Joseph Smith had access to a local library, which he did not, there were no county libraries in his day. If anyone wanted to go to a library, they were few and far between in the major cities, maybe attached to a university. And then in the library, there was no information about Arabia. He wrote the Book of Mormon with the people traveling through Arabia, and he describes how it was so desolate and barren, except, as we said previously, there were towns that they stopped at, close enough to the coast of the Dead Sea, or the Red Sea rather, so that they were able to exist. But there was one or two books that made some guesses about Arabia. One was by Conder's Arabia. I think the exact name was A Popular Description of Arabia. It's out of print. It was printed in 1825. That would have been available to Joseph Smith. But listen to what it said about Arabia. They said the interior was rich and fertile, and there was much vegetation, and that the coasts were barren. And Joseph Smith has it the other way around. He says that the interior was quite barren and desolate, and that when they traveled, they made their way to the coast that was very beautiful and lush, and in fact, they called it bountiful. This is another evidence that Joseph Smith was inspired to ignore the prevailing views at the time. I think the reason why the Arabia was not well known is because a lot of people were afraid of the Muslim presence, and I think some explorers were worried that they may not come out alive. One bold explorer by the name of Sir Richard Burton, the same name as an actor who became famous 100 years later. This Sir Richard Burton did some exploring in Arabia, and he made it out alive and made some accurate descriptions. But his book came out much later than the Book of Mormon, and so Joseph Smith did not have access to his information. Speaking of this Sir Richard Burton, he also ventured into Salt Lake City. He had heard that the Mormons were a very dangerous people, so he liked to go into dangerous places, and wrote a book based on his visit to Salt Lake City called The City of the Saints, I believe is the name of it. But the bottom line is that Joseph Smith was inspired to be able to give us an accurate description of Arabia that was not known by any books of his day. Here's an interesting statement. A cabinet minister in Egypt, aware of the common ground between the Latter-day Saints and Muslims, once remarked to Elder Howard W. Hunter of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, he said, "If a bridge is ever built between Christianity and Islam, it must be built by the Mormon Church." And that's quoted in a talk by Elder Howard W. Hunter. All are alike unto God is the name of the talk. It's found in 1979 Devotional Speeches of the Year, pages 32 to 36, printed in 1980. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll be back with episode number 44, I believe. Right? Yeah, 44. Thanks. Bye.